That would have been a shit show.
Oh God.
All right,
That
so
would've been,
apparently I just started recording this now because of the free Zoom. You only get 40 minutes for a meeting. So if we decide to continue on with this, I mean, I guess I can upgrade the damn thing, but I didn't want to do it and pay for something I wasn't going to use, you know?
well,
Yeah.
especially on our first go round.
Yeah. Sorry about the
All right.
email thing. I guess technology has established its dominance over me.
I like them fries.
That's all right. I barely got Zoom set up on my laptop before this thing started. I was like, ah, shit.
He likes some French fried taters.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd set this thing up for my one of my medical exams that I had to do, which I don't even understand.
I can do your medical exam right here.
Man,
Bend over.
we're taking our pants off already.
Oh shit. Let's get
That
this party
escalated
started.
quickly.
It's not gay. You got two medics on here, so 50%
Right.
of this team's medic. So we can all run around naked, and the ratio's still good.
Yeah, it doesn't get weird until you get a finger in the bunghole.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that there is that. Apparently, I'm going to be making like $2,000 a day doing that. So, got that going for me.
I mean, $2,000 is $2,000.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, check clears. I
Yeah.
mean,
The other day, somebody asked me if you know, the old, you suck a dick for $1 million. And I'm like, that's not even a question, man. The question's how fucking low will I go? You know?
yeah, like,
It's like $1 million. I ain't even gonna think about it. You get down around $150, I'm gonna start asking like, whose dick is it clean? You know. But at $1 million, I'm just fucking gargling shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even matter.
I'd
Up in
be
the balls.
deep before I had to do what the stipulation.
Finger in the asshole.
None of the gravy.
They'd be going, okay, you get $1 million. I'll be like, whoa, and then they'd be like, and then you got to, I'd be like, whoa, what?
This guy at work, they said you'd still be gay, and I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but I'd be a millionaire gay guy.
Y'all'd still be out here working. I'm enjoying my island.
Yeah, I mean, if my OnlyFans would kick off.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm working on it. Hey, Bugs, that'll be shortly happening. Trust me on this one.
Yeah, I'm a little terrified of that one. This question's getting oddly specific.
Oh, fuck my life. Don't ask any questions when you start getting phone calls. All right, just answer the questions. You know.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you may not know it yet, but you've already done a demo tape for the gay porn career, and
Yeah.
they're quite smitten with you, I must admit.
By video, what he means is he took the stills that you sent him and he thumbs through them kind of like a flip book.
So it's
Really
great.
fast. And he's like,
You know, this will work out in all of our favor. Maybe not Bugs, but it'll work out in our favor.
75% of this team is very pleased with the results.
We got to finance this revolution somehow.
Right?
You know, I always thought I'd be the
I did that
pimp
to
in this situation. I did never figure it to go this way.
I did that to someone the other day. They were talking about numbers and statistics. I don't even remember the conversation now, but they're coming up with some shit. I said, "Where'd you get these numbers at?" And they're like, "Well, they're just out there." You know what I mean? That arbitrary bullshit. And I was like, "Well, here's some statistics for you. Like 100% of everyone who ever drank water died."
Right?
So what does
Those
that
are
tell you about fucking water? You know what I mean? Like,
That's like those people that say, "Oh, I only eat organic," and I'm like, "You do realize that cyanide is organic, right?" So
Yeah.
you know,
well, technically, I think crude oil is as well, but I don't want to.
it is.
The only thing I ever do with that is use it as a masturbatory lubricant.
Well, duh, we all learned that the oil came from the dinosaurs and not making dinosaurs anymore. So we're never going to have more oil.
No.
No, it's actually plants, because the dinosaurs, you know, they're not gonna. There's not enough to actually generate oil reserves and then replenish them, like you said. So it's always fucking funny to hear people talking out the ass. And I'm like, look at dude, crude is the original green energy. Fuck off.
I did read that it wasn't actually from fossils, that they misrepresented that our entire lives.
Yeah.
People don't
So-
realize that alien invasion already happened in plants. They're farming us.
So I'm kind of one of the closet nerds. I think all of us are. And there's this fucking dude I follow. It's this black guy, man. He's nerdy as fuck, but he's extremely intelligent. What he did was he took a microwave, the heater, out of a microwave, and he created this forge. And this dude built this shit in his backyard, like some Iron Man shit, right? And he can now take like plastic, like all your plastic bullshit, right? Styrofoam, plastic bottles, and all that, and he chops it up in like a confetti. He puts it into this forge and he heats it at a certain temperature. And as it goes through this forge, he opens the valve on the end, and it's fucking gasoline, dude. And he's making this in his backyard
Huh.
out of like plastic bottles and shit.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, that's all the stuff
I
we were
stopped listening to
drinking.
black guy.
Dale's like, I got nothing.
I get, not yet.
I might have to edit that part out.
Dale's
So
like,
I did the
joke
same
Bobby
thing
left
with the
it.
same materials in high school, but from a bong.
yeah, my wife's gonna fucking beat me.
It's like those flat earth motherfuckers, man. It's like, you know who is not a believer in the flat earth? Like every fucking airline pilot in the world. You know what I mean?
No shit, right?
Every fucking scientist in the world, not one or two, all of them.
So that was one of the things too. With you guys remember this Chinese balloon shit, right? And they were saying, oh, they didn't fall over or it didn't travel over anything of importance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming from our backgrounds, we all know what's in the Dakotas. We all know what's in Montana. We all know what's in these specific locations that this fucking balloon traveled over, right? So I was talking to my buddy, well, my neighbor actually. He's an A-10 pilot. And he flies a bunch of other birds and everything as well. And I was talking to him about it. And I guess pilots have an equation that they do based off of their horizon distance that they can see, right? So I guess, and I could be wrong on this, I forget what the mathematical equation was, but it's so many miles of being able to see that creates a square mileage for a pilot for essentially intelligence gathering or whatever needs to be done. Okay. And it was something like a 6,000 square mile radius. At the height that balloon was traveling at, its line of sight on the horizon, it was like a 6,000 square foot radius that balloon was able to gather intelligence from. So even if it traveled, even as it traveled that one kind of linear line as it moved through, it was gathering intel in a 6,000 square mile radius. So they were gathering, they were gathering. It was essentially gathering intel like North Texas, up in Amarillo, one of our nuclear bases that's up there. You got the Dakotas, you got Montana. As it traveled through, it gathered intel on all these locations.
Well, the whole path that it took was a pretty like small populated area overall, so the chances of it going undetected were better.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still, like you said, with a 6,000-mile radius. Lord, they were getting intel on northern Canada at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was, and the rest of the people are like, oh, it traveled over unpopulated areas. Well, where the fuck do we keep all of our most top secret shit? You know, like I'm not gonna fly over downtown New York City. Like I'm gonna see a bunch of knuckleheads there. You know, right. It's gonna be in the, it's gonna be in the unpopulated areas where they keep all the different, like Minot and all that kind of shit, where they pick up all the intel that they want to pick up.
Yeah, but
so yeah,
ratio. Fuck, he could have seen Minot from goddamn Calgary or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the other thing
he got to Montana, he's already scanning South Texas. You know.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was looking at. And I mean, we know where the DOE has their bases. as I was looking at this and I put everything together, and then I kind of followed through a map. As it turned and followed, like it went over every one of our nuclear bases, dude. Just from the intel gathering radius that it had, it was able to cover all of it.
Well, and the
Because
vast
that's the thing.
majority of the population doesn't even realize what the DOE does, or like their military, side of it. People, yes, a random citizen. What does the DOE do? They'd be like, I don't know, regulatory stuff.
Well, if you think about it, okay, so like, how have they always depicted nuclear attacks in the past? Targeting major cities, right? And for most of our foreign enemies, their strategic, quarters, as it were, are near the major cities. However, in America, we don't have no strategic places near major cities except DC. That's like the only one, the only guarantee.
Well,
that should be the first to go
I
anyway.
don't know if I agree with that, but I understand the process. Go ahead.
But what they're doing is, if you decide you're going to wage war, you don't want to destroy all of the infrastructure because you obviously want to co-opt it later. So if they take out strategic points where there's not much population, they might, and with their hypersonic missile development, they were targeting that to actually shut down our response.
Yeah.
And not destroy the infrastructure they'll eventually be co-opting.
Obviously, I mean, had a good look at our power grid then.
Yeah, that ain't going to take much.
No, hell, California couldn't even frickin' recharge all their electric cars they had there last summer. So,
well, hell, look at what happened with Texas in that snowstorm a year or so ago. When was it?
Right?
Yeah, it shut us down, man. I was actually on a detail up in Austin, but it shut everything down all the way down to Corpus. It essentially put everyone back into the Stone Age. There was no internet, there was no electricity, there was nothing, man. And people were losing their damn minds.
By the way, the dude. Abides.
Yeah, so like, you guys are paying for this. When do you want me to take my pants off?
No, that's the meeting after this one.
Oh, my bad.
It's gotta happen organically.
It's gotta happen organically.
It's gotta look natural.
Gotcha. All right. I've watched.
Well, you managed to plug it one time. Let's see if you can do it again.
Wasn't here, meow.
Right, meow?
Oh, yeah, right, meow.
Oh,
Wasn't here, meow.
No, come here.
I don't know.
License and registration, chicken fucker.
I don't know.
He'll do the talking for me.
I don't know what all this shit means. I don't, you listen to some of these cats. I mean, it's doom and gloom nonstop, and then some of them are just fucking painting roses on every wall they see.
Yeah, if it's gonna go doom and gloom, it should just get it over with.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I just don't sit around and worry about shit like that too much because I figure whatever the fuck happens is gonna happen. Ain't a damn thing any of us can do. If we go to war, we go to war. If we don't, we don't. And you know what I mean? Like obsessing over the details of it don't make a shit. I personally don't think, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, but I personally don't think that we'll ever have to worry about boots on ground here. The reason I say that is we still got people on the south side of us that are moderately friendly with us, and we got people on the north side that are moderately friendly with us. And then in the middle, in the middle of all this, we've got, population of what, 300 and something million people? I don't even know now. 600 and something? I don't know what it is
we have like 340 million people. Well,
and probably there's probably 700 million guns. We got enough guns for everybody to have 2 or 3.
I think that's probably Texas alone.
You want to talk about how bad Vietnam was because of all the fucking backward shit, you know what I mean? Running around the woods throwing pot shots. I mean, Jesus Christ, this would be a guerrilla war fucking nightmare.
100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, that's why it was so damn funny what Joe Biden said. You're going to need an F-15 and a nuclear weapon. It's like, hey, dipshit. I know you don't know jack shit about strategy because, you know, as evidenced by your fucking foreign policy and you telling your wife to go
Withdrawal of
fucking shoot some fucking, you know, pop a few off in the air out on the porch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we see where your strategy lies, but it certainly isn't going to be that kind of warfare, bruh.
No.
I mean, yeah, I was asked something about the whole 25,000 National Guardsmen that showed up. I was like, look, if something was really going to happen, those guys don't stand a chance because
No.
I only need
No,
about 500 of us
Yeah.
to go to thwart 25,000 National Guardsmen.
What was that
That's-
actor, that big fat Italian comedian actor dude? I can't remember his name now.
Oh, you're talking about
give me. Yep.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the one me and you was talking about that time. And he's like, you don't
Yep.
need an army. You need 3 motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You ever seen that video? He's like,
Give me
three
three
bad
real
motherfuckers.
and I'll take over the world.
was that Ralphie May? Was it him?
No. Now you're just being a bigot against fat people, but you're just throwing out the only fat people you know.
I'll figure out his name, but it was
Looney? Was it Looney?
Like those people that are like, well, I got black friends. I'm not a racist. You're like, I'm not a bigot. I know fat people. Is it Ralphie May? No. Name one more fat person, Dale, real quick. Go ahead, off the cuff.
John Looney.
Yeah, there you go. Fucking bigot. He's been exposed.
Dude, I'm used to it. I'm always the token retard. So am I allowed to say that? I'm probably not allowed to say that. But I guess since I am one, maybe.
I got a feeling like none of these things are ever going to get on the air.
That's exactly the point of this, though, is that, yeah, we could upload it to YouTube and they'll probably like either ban it or, you know, keep it from getting, you know, any sponsorship. Okay, you got to go lay down, retard. Go lay down. But
special needs, damn it.
But that's the point, is that if we put it out on podcast, if we upload it to Rumble or whatever, you know, it'll be fine. We don't need
Rumble,
YouTube.
is that not that gay dating app? I think you slipped up there, Freud.
So
I'm too high to remember. What I
You
say?
accidentally said Grinder. You didn't say Rumble. I'll play the audio back.
Heard it.
What was that? There was a video the other day that I saw, and it said something about it doesn't make you gay if you suck a dick. Because how do you know you even like it or you don't like it if you've only done it once? So you always got to do it twice to check whether you actually like it or not.
Yeah. That's what I tell people all the time when they first meet me. They'll be talking, and I'll say, literally, I've done this 100 times. I say, I know I'm not gay. I fuck.
Yes, you have.
Like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
I think after 100 times, John, you know.
Yeah. I fucked it.
There's your Freudian slip.
That shit hurts a little worse than you think it does.
Wait, the giving part?
I gave him butt hugs.
The prison wallet, huh?
Speaking of micro penis,
Is this time for our first sponsor?
I think, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was so good, though. That was so good. He was all panicking and all worried and all upset.
I was worried about glitter bombs for sure, and I think that's rightful amongst that group.
No, I think that's a valid concern.
I was even speculating that you put the right address on there. Maybe that you were playing a little psyop on Looney and put your neighbor's address or some shit. So I was worried, like, all right, who are we sending shit to now?
No, I could tell after he sent it to me, the way he was acting, I could tell he legit realized right after it went out that he'd fucked up.
Oh yeah, I was like, uh-oh. I got the gang
He tried to play it off all cool, and he's like, hey, by the way, in case you were wondering, I put somebody's fake address on there, and it wasn't me, and it was some white dudes wearing a MAGA hat, and they were screaming obscene slurs at me too.
It happened.
Juicy Smollett over here fucking trying to put on his acting shoes. So I knew the moment I got the box, it was fucking legit.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, beep, 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 beep.
Oh,
I tried to do one thing nice. I send you a BW license plate.
was a
You're like,
good
oh,
tag.
I'm Georgia. I don't have to have front plates. And in my glee to do something so nice and just so benevolent, that's a big word, by the way. I put my real address down. That was a rookie mistake.
Altruistic.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was as soon as I heard about that, I was like, yeah, what the fuck was he not thinking about?
Yep, it was pretty bad.
Hey, don't feel bad. Dale got the housewarming gift.
I know, right? I was like, how the fuck did somebody figure out that quick where exactly I live at?
Yo,
All I did
dude,
was
It was just the
I was
chocolate
thoroughly
cotton balls
disappointed.
and the buttholes, or what'd you send that on? It was something else.
Dude, I sent the bomb, dude. I sent that.
Yeah, he
That's
sent the glitter bomb.
Yeah.
with all the
penis
penises in
glitter
it.
bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sent the
And that's
chocolate
what I was
cotton
afraid
balls.
of.
You sent the chocolate dick?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know Looney did, but did you? I only got the 2 gifts, right? No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
'Cause
sent
didn't
the
remember
chocolate
that
I
Looney got
sent.
in
I
on
sent.
that.
I think Looney sent the chocolate dick, and then I sent the glitter bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was disappointed in mine because you could hear the spring, and I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like,
Yeah, that was the funny thing. I shook it, and I heard like this spring in there, and I'm like,
Danger, Will Robinson.
not opening this inside.
I know good and well he ate the chocolate though. That's the thing.
Those come
For the life
hollow
of
for
me,
a reason.
I can't find it since the move. I mean, odd.
Did it make you feel inadequate? Did you cry a little when you were chewing it up?
I was a little disappointed in your quality selection. You could have gone with the dark chocolate.
Yeah, but then who would that really be for?
Hey, I like the dark chocolate.
That's more of a me present.
Is that why it was so short?
Yeah. I didn't design the thing.
You got a mold of Willie, admit it.
That's not what was in my brain.
I set for the mold.
that shit's
So
Yeah,
hilarious.
you didn't know
true,
that,
though.
but I actually went and had them do a plaster of me, and then had them chocolate it and sent it to you. It's a very expensive process. You threw it under the table. There's a lot to get done. I'll be honest with you. It'll work.
So you're saying all your thought and heart went into that?
He didn't drink water for 2 days, so it'd be extra veiny.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about the heart and the water that went into it, but there's definitely something that went into it.
Hey, at least it wasn't one of those damn cream filled fucking things. Yeah, like a fucking
David John, I was gonna ask, was the cream organic?
Just one of them fucking Cadbury Easter egg things. What was that movie where he wound up jerking the dog off with those donuts?
Van Wilder.
Van Wilder, that's it. Yep.
That was it.
Do you know that movie was based off of that comedian Bert Kreischer, The Machine?
No way.
Yeah, it was like loosely because I guess Rolling Stone did a story because he literally went to school for like 8 years just partying it down at Florida State. And so Rolling Stone did some like expose on him, which ended up basing that movie off of him.
Dude, that shit was fucking hilarious.
Hey, that's another fat guy you can throw in there, Superman.
He's overweight. That guy. I'm thinking like who was that? Iglesias?
Yep, I told you couldn't name 2. You fucking bigot.
That's fucking racist.
Well, I don't actually watch a lot of stand-up anymore because usually it's fucking sad and lonely women who fucking have too many house cats that are not really funny anymore.
This is where we need to do a plug for something like fucking Wegovy or, you know what I mean, some weight loss drug or some shit. We need to do a plug right here. And to any of you Well,
I could be
fat
the
people, what's a
spokesperson.
nice way of saying fat people? To any of you plus size people out there,
Hey, did you see the chick that just petitioned the airlines? They said that the airlines should hand out free seating for fat people now because they're too fat and don't fit in one seat. So because of the price that they have to pay, the airlines should automatically just give them multiple seats.
now wait. When you say fat,
I mean,
You know
my
what's funny
doing
about that shit?
vacation, I should be able to fly.
are we
for
doing
free.
this based on weight alone?
Do you remember
No, we're basing this off of fucking rotundness.
what was Silent Bob's what's his real name?
Ron
Kevin
Danielowski.
Smith. Kevin Smith.
Who?
Kevin
Kevin
Smith.
Smith.
Danielowski.
Kevin Smith got so
Oh.
pissed off when he was fat as fuck. And the airline was like, you're gonna have to buy an extra seat. And he was like all incensed and shit. And what did he do? He fucking lost weight. I'm like, apparently the shit works. Maybe a little fat shaming is needed in this fucking country.
Well, that's
Oh,
like that
that's-
dude that played in My Name Is Earl, and then he was in American History X.
No, that dude, he made a choice to do a real healthy way of that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just jacked now.
I know, right? I'm like, oh
his
shit.
name, some kind of Ethan or something, wasn't it?
Ethan
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, dude. He got into jiu-jitsu. He got into jiu-jitsu a lot.
Suplee.
Yeah.
Ethan Suplee, that's his name.
Yeah, Ethan. Yeah, yep.
Well,
Yeah, dude.
no,
when
I
my
saw a
wife
picture.
showed the picture of him, I was like, the fuck you're taking? What?
And
I
then you
mean, man,
see the face, and you're like, "Holy shit, that is him!" Like totally
right?
different.
It takes you a second without all that puff he had because he was a big ass boy.
That's like Jonah Hill. He lost a bunch of weight because he got tired of being typecast as just the funny fat guy, and he when
Yeah.
he lost weight, like people were like, "What's wrong with you?" And like he just got sick of it. I don't
yeah,
blame
but now his movies are shit, so he needs to put on some fucking weight.
him.
Hear this, John?
Yeah.
Go eat some donuts and get back in shape, you fat fucker.
All these guys start to fucking think their shit smells fucking glorious, and yeah, you know,
That's what
what. Yeah.
that's one of the things I never understood, dude, is they want to shame. So the guys, big dudes, like, I mean, us, for instance, minus Bugs. We
Resident
we
retard.
get yeah, no. We get fucked with for the fact that we're built the way we are, and we take pride in our appearance and walk around. So we're the ones that get shit on and fucked with. But you call somebody fucking fat, and you call it for what it is. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be truthful. It's like David Goggins said, dude. You're fucking fat. Flat out, like, call it what it is. Be honest about it. Don't call it anything else. You're not fucking plus size. You're a fat fucking lazy piece of shit, and that's how you got to where you're at.
And big bone.
Yeah, that's the problem, dude. That's why there's a problem today. Is everybody wants to blame it on something else, and I get it, man. I really get it. Some people have legit health problems, right? Thyroid issues or whatever the case may be. I get that.
That only accounts for 10% of the body weight, literally.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I couldn't give a fuck if somebody's fat or not fat. You want to be fat, be fat. You want to eat, like, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
But the thing is like, it's kind of like with the whole fucking tranny thing, man. I just don't shove it in my fucking face. I don't even want to know if you're fucking heterosexual. I do not give a fucking shit what your religion.
Well, that is a point in time I do want to know.
Being fat, that's one step further than the tranny thing. Because here's the thing: all these are the same fucking people that are critching about wanting socialized medicine. They don't want to pay shit for medicine.
Exactly.
I'm like, if you want to be as fat as you're going to be, then guess what? You're not on the fucking healthcare plan. You got to pay for it yourself.
Then people are going to die off faster anyway. It's going to work out in the fucking end. They're going to all be dead by the time they're 35.
Yeah, but they're going to rack up 10 times the medical bills you will.
Yeah, they probably will. But I mean, it's a scale. It's a spectrum. Like, there's no way to fix, our rules, our laws, our entire system, capitalism, fucking healthcare, education, any system that we have in place that I can think of right now at this point is designed around us, or has been for generations. It's designed around the people in the core center. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones who are willing to work and who are willing to try and who are willing to do these things. But now what's happened is that 2% or 1% of all those scumbag pieces of shit, the ones that are robbing fucking grocery stores, the ones that are shutting down goddamn Walmarts and shooting people in the fucking streets, and that's where all the damn transvestites and all that off-brand shit goes to. And I'm not talking about in terms of violence or in terms of degradation or anything like that. I'm just talking about in terms of the mean average population. 90% of this country is just like us. Most of them think just like us. But the fringe has been politicized to the point where now everybody assumes that fucking 1% is the norm. And it doesn't matter to people like us who are 50 years old, who have a fucking brain and can watch TV and understand these things. Where it matters is these kids that are sitting there watching that shit all hours of the day, ingesting it and thinking that that's what life is.
Oh, it's the grandest psyops operation in history.
Oh yeah,
well,
no fucking doubt.
None of these little bastards had to grow up under pressure. Like if you think about it, we grew up right post Vietnam War. We had a relationship with danger our entire childhood. From war being some esoteric type shit to jumping a fucking ramp that was 5 foot tall, and you knew if you were a parent watching this shit, you'd be like, ah! But here we are, just woo, no helmet,
Yeah,
See,
dude.
Seriously, these motherfuckers had no relationship.
I literally read hundreds.
Go ahead.
I read hundreds and hundreds of books, man, on real estate and millionaires and billionaires. And the biggest thing that I learned is that the number one way that people become millionaires in the country is real estate. You have the stock market, you have oil moguls, stuff like that, but those are one-offs. Elon Musk is a one-off. Bill Gates is a one-off. Warren Buffett, those are one-offs, right? But the number one, and it has been the number one way that people have become millionaires throughout history, is real estate. And I'm one of these guys. I've always, for better or for worse, I could just figure shit out. So I was like, how hard could it be to go buy properties and rebuild these properties? So that's what I did when I came home. I found piece of shit properties and I completely rebuilt them from the ground up. And that's, I paid cash for everything. That way I have no debt. And that's how I got my properties that I have. I have 6 properties. But asset wealthy, cash poor, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So one of my buddies, I've been buddies with him for like 15 years. He's a real close friend of mine. His grandfather started the company. His dad took over. Now he took over. It's a construction company. They're over $100 million a year. Well, that's who I work for now. He called me and was like, hey, do you want a job? And no, not really. But I oversee all the finance, the purchasing, procurement of all materials for this company now.
Right.
Well, he got into high-end precision bolt guns. So he owns Sage Precision. A lot of the actions that are being used in these precision guns and the PRS matches around the country now are made by Curtis Custom Actions, right? He owns Curtis Custom Actions. So we build bolt guns out at his house, but I build all the gas guns here at my house. And that's how it got started. Fucking build guns all the time now. I should get my own FFL. He's got the FFL, but it just continued going, man. And it's easy. So I build guns all the time and have parts laying around and can literally Frankenstein anything.
Right on.
But one of the things that I come up with was, so everybody talks about bolt guns being the most precise, right? Like anybody that's ever done any sniping or long range shooting, there's always an argument of what's better, a bolt gun or a gas gun, a bolt gun or a gas gun, right? So scientifically, like ballistically speaking, your bolt guns will always be the more accurate gun. And the reason behind that is there's nothing touching the barrel of your bolt gun. It is a legitimate free floating barrel, right?
Right.
So you get gas guns, and these gas guns claim to be, free floating. They're not free floating. And the reason why they're not is because you have wherever the fuck it is, you have a gas tube,
Right.
and you have a gas block that touches that barrel.
Right.
So you will never get the same whip of the barrel. So I came up with a way to change that. I literally changed that. What I did, I don't have it with me. It's at my buddy's place, but I said, okay, what if we could run one suppressed, right? Because gas guns, they work off the gas pressure. That's how they charge the bolt, everything like that. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, how does a suppressor work? A suppressor traps gas, right? Why can't we just run a gas tube straight into a suppressor and then run that gas tube from the suppressor straight back into your charging system? So when the gun fires, that gas in the suppressor shoots back down the gas tube and it works your bolt. So we built one, and it worked.
Nice.
But the problem is that in order to do that, you have to have your suppressor. And
right.
we got the accuracy down to half MOA, quarter MOA shooting with a bolt gun consistently. But you can't have the gun unless you get a fucking federal firearm stamp to get the suppressor. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Hollywood has just ruined that. Everybody thinks you can just shoot a gun with a suppressor and you're not going to hear anything, and it's just going to be assassins running around.
You can't.
Now, the 300 Blackout I built for my son, yeah, you could literally shoot that in a crowd of people, and you won't hear it. But for the most part, hell no. I mean, it makes it tolerable where you don't have to have ear pro on, but them fuckers they're still loud.
Yeah, I don't have one of those built that way. I've got a 22 bolt gun that I built, little Savage that I built, and you
That's
can't
what
hear
I call
it.
mine.
You can't hear it. All you can hear is the click.
Yeah.
And I stand in the front door, literally using the door jamb as a bench rest, and shoot squirrels out of my front yard. And for years, my wife thought it was a pellet gun.
Yeah. So, I think of shit like that all the time, man. And I think a lot of it, and I'm sure you guys are the same way. I think it's probably part of our post-traumatic stress. I don't know what you would call it, but my brain literally never shuts down. Like, it'll be fucking 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll like sit up with some fucking idea and write it down. Like shit I wasn't even thinking about, and then all of a sudden now, like, I'm like, whoa, wait, will this work? Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
I have all kinds of fantastic ideas. I just don't have the financial backing to see them come true. Yeah. I have been for years trying to get somebody to go along with me about building saddles to ride and possibly domesticating crocodiles. And
there it is.
No one will even fucking listen to me. You know what I mean? It's
I was strung along till there.
Up until the crocodile was like,
but let's hear it out. I mean, we taped the mouth.
I knew it was a fuckery afoot.
I'm just saying. I mean, if its mouth was taped shut, I'd totally go for a ride. Get a little like a snuba system, so you can dive down with it.
Yeah, we're actually developing with the.
We're going crocodile.
We're actually developing with the makers of Flex Seal. We're coming up with a muzzle. It's a crocodile muzzle.
So legit, going back to that thought on the financial backing. And I brought this up too, and I started thinking about this because of all the years that we spent around in the Arab world, right?
Sure.
Not just because of that, but
we're gonna
also because them. What's that?
We're gonna ride them.
That has been done. That has been done. So one of my things was being around Jewish people and being around like the Arabs in general.
Here we go.
And then no. And then coming back.
We've already pissed off the fatties. We've already pissed off the trans testicles. Let's get
Hold
into
on,
some
I'm gonna have
fucking
to go
religion.
fight my
Let's
wife.
get into some fucking religion. Come on.
No. So, and yeah, you know, there's
They
some
killed
truth
Jesus. They
too.
deserve it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's some truth too being called a fucking Jew, right? You're a Jew bastard. Well, religiously speaking and family speaking, there's some truth to it, but it is fucking smart because they marry into families, right? So when a son and daughter get married, those two families come together and they put their money together to build an empire. Well, there was a thing. Well, there was a thing I was just watching the other day, and this goes back to our land and our compound that I was talking about, and you were talking about too. Is that, and I was looking at this thing, and I forget his name. His brother. They're two brothers, dude. One of them's name's Tristan, and I forget the other one's. Anyways, so he said when they were younger, he worked at a restaurant. He was a waiter at a restaurant, and one of the waiters there was driving around a Ferrari. And he goes to this guy, and he was like, "How is it you're a waiter driving a Ferrari?" And he said, "I have 9 brothers." And he said, "Okay, well, what does that got to do with anything?" He said, "Well, you Americans haven't figured it out yet. See, whenever I've got 9 brothers, we all make money together and we all put our money together. So instead of one of us making 50 grand a year, you could take that 50 grand and multiply it by 9. And that's where our investments come from for us to be able to buy land, buy businesses and things like that." Well, whenever you look back on it, look at the Arab communities and the places we lived around the world, and even the Jewish people. Like, that's the exact same thing that they're doing, and that's how they build the empires that they build. So yeah, there's some truth to us all getting together and putting money together to essentially build whatever the fuck it is we want to build.
I'm with you, but I still think you're talking about some kind of money where we share. But and I'm 100% with you. But on the aspect of building empires, I think a reintroduction of slavery would build a better empire. Because
that I agree with.
If you look back at the Egyptian culture, I mean, the Romans did it. You know what I mean? The Aztecs did it. If you want a fucking pyramid, you got to get some slaves. I don't think you can argue with the history of that design. And,
or aliens.
Or aliens, yeah. So either we got to come up with some fucking slavery somewhere. I don't care from where. Preferably, we go down to the Dominican Republic and look in some of the hair salons and stuff and start our search there for proper captives. We bring them back, and then we reintroduce them into our society, the one we've established where a myriad of wives is perfectly acceptable. And then we build us a fucking pyramid.
You need Jesus.
There's not many people that would argue that point.
I mean, I've got a myriad of wives, but they're all in the X category.
Yeah, don't bring them.
Yeah,
none of them are welcome. None of them are welcome.
I don't know. The first one, I got some pretty good kids out of that one. She was good breeding material.
Yeah.
Hopefully, she doesn't watch this.
Hopefully, I don't know. Never mind.
we don't want to help him or encourage.
That's another episode.
Yeah.
You can be a guest.
More encouraging. And like I said, I'm not talking about slavery before anybody goes into this whole all that fucking virtue signaling bullshit. I'm talking about going down to some little nice island, finding a couple hundred beautiful island girls and bring them back and build us a temple. Purely scientific.
I think there's another term for that, and it's called trafficking.
I know.
You'll end up in like a Bulgarian
I know
prison.
some guys that used to do that too.
I'm just going out on a limb here, but I think that's frowned upon.
I was picking up 4 15-passenger vans in Boston for a training exercise, and the guy asked me at the Enterprise counter, he's like, "So what are you doing with all these vans?" And me being me, not thinking, I was like, "Human trafficking," and just kept filling out the paperwork. And my buddy like slaps me. He's like, "Dude, he thinks you're serious." I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm joking." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
He's already down here with his cell phone, typing in some
No,
fucking code.
no,
All of
he's like,
Boston
he's like,
SWAT was
he's like, all
involved,
right,
so
well, it's the Biden administration, so he wasn't going to turn him in. He was going to be like, "Well, sir, you're in the wrong lane for
yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
You
We have an
got to be
express
in the
lane for that.
far." Yes, yes, absolutely. We're not stopping that. So just
That's
go
the
on.
far left
Far
lane.
left.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, there's no forms to fill out. Just go, go, go.
I see what you did there.
I remember one time I'd left. I think I was coming back in through Dulles. I think it was back before they had the international terminal built in Atlanta. I'm not sure, but anyway, I was coming back through Dulles. Every time I landed in Dulles and I got up to the counter to give them my fucking form for, declaration to the shit, they would always pull me aside. They always circle it with some kind of goddamn highlighter or something, and they'd pull me out of fucking line, and they'd start finger fucking all my gear. Next time I come in, same shit. Next time I come in, same fucking shit. And I'm missing my connection every time. And finally, I just shit the fucking bed. I was like, I don't know what fucking list you cocksuckers have me on, but whatever the fuck it is, I'm tired of it. A few minutes later, they got me in a fucking room in the airport, right? These two cats come in with state, both of them wearing suits, sit down, and they got my shit. And he starts telling me this story about how they're sorry, but they'd been getting reports of contractors leaving war zones with bags of cash and this, that, and the other. And so they wound up, whatever the fuck they had done to flag me, they undid it because I never got stopped again, which was what I was shooting for. But man, I started telling them, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You motherfuckers are seriously asking us where the goddamn money's going? You're literally blaming us for the fucking mountains of cash we've seen getting loaded onto planes. Literally, I don't know how many fucking times I stood in Kabul airport and watched a motherfucker open a duffel bag stacked full of cash and then wave him off.
And then meanwhile, I was flying into Baghdad with $100,000 strapped to my body because anything over $10,000 you had to declare or they would seize it. And so that was the operations fund for the contract I was running. So like every 3 months, I'd have to fly in with $100 grand strapped to me.
Yeah, you were up on what was that? The IRI up in.
Yes, I did IRI in Baghdad, then up in Erbil, then ended up going to Kabul, then Khartoum, then down to Juba. So I stayed with them. I started working the IRI contract like right in 06 because I was went over during the CPA stuff and stood up Hilla down there. And then from Hilla, I moved up to Mosul in 05 and then lucked into IRI, honestly. And it was just an easy client, it was decent work. All the guys, small teams because we were low pro. So I stayed with them from 06 until 2014 when I quit contracting.
That's right.
And Erbil was pretty safe up there.
Yeah, it was back then because I was there like the 07, 08 time frame. So most all of every now and again we'd like run to the Crab out in Kirkuk to pick up mail, but most everything we did was like going up to like the Hook or Suli, and they were cake runs.
Yeah, see, I was up in Suli on the what was that, the RCLO mission, which was the Regime Crimes Liaison Office. They were studying all the Saddam's war crime shit.
But yeah, you guys had that big compound just outside the city. Like if you were coming in, it was on the left-hand side.
No, you're talking about the SFODA compound. We weren't there.
Okay.
Yeah, no. We were actually in the city downtown at the Circle. There was a hotel we were staying at, and we took over the top 2 floors
was there
as our operations.
A mosque loudspeaker right next to one of the windows up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We'd hear that shit call out every fucking morning.
I may or may not know somebody, since we were talking about suppressors, that 4 a.m. one morning took out that speaker from the hotel room when we were up there on an overnight mission. I won't name his name.
Oh, dude. Lou, do you remember that loudspeaker was on the other side of the wall from us at Global? down there in Lindsay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like right on the other side of the HESCO
yeah.
was their little mosque, and every morning fucking blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I
And they
wanted
did
to
that
throw a
shit. I
rock
got
at that
stuck
fucking
in
thing.
fucking Jordan. No, not Jordan, Kuwait. Yeah, I was in Kuwait. I can't remember who I was with. Anyway, they had a fucking compound in Kuwait City. Had a villa down there, and so I was up there for about a week, 10 days, waiting on some paperwork shit to get hashed out. But the same fucking thing, man. I got pictures of that motherfucker. It was literally 30 meters from my fucking door, and 5 times a day. God almighty.
Oh
So you're
man,
saying you don't miss that sound?
No, not a little bit. Hey, I've
Not even
told
a
this
little.
story to several people over the years, but do any of y'all remember this? I don't remember if it was Jordan, Kuwait. I don't remember where it was at, but somewhere I was at one time. I think it was actually Kuwait City. They had a fucking thing at the airport, Mr. Corn. Anybody see that?
Mm-mm.
I only
Mm.
It's
flew
like a
through
fucking
Kuwait
little
one
hot
time.
dog stand kiosk thing with a ear of corn cartoon character as the mascot. And they were literally selling white styrofoam cups with fucking corn and a spoon. You had like butter and salt on it, and that was all they were selling was goddamn little cups of corn, with a spoon. I tried to tell that story, and I can't remember where the fuck it was at, but it's like nobody else knows about it. So I don't know if it was a glitch in the matrix or if I'm just getting fucking senile.
I mean, it
Hmm.
might have been there. I only went through Kuwait a few times, and between how long it's been since I've been through there, and I really wasn't paying all that much attention to anything around me except getting through the damn security lines.
Dude, I remember
Yeah.
going to Jordan. Did you guys ever use the blue jumpsuits in Jordan?
Oh yeah, that's such a. One
I went
time I
in with
did
a
that.
buddy of mine, OSF buddy of mine, and we go in. He's fucking salty as shit, meaner than a fucking snake. You know what I mean? Just one of them fucking Clint Eastwood Gran Torino motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so we get up there, and I give the guy some money, and he takes all my shit, and he goes and does his thing. And he's like, I ain't paying these motherfuckers nothing. Fuck this crooked ass fucking blah, 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 blah. So a few minutes later, I'm standing on the other fucking side. All my shit's done been stamped, and I got everything. He comes rolling through about 30 minutes later. They took all his fucking P-mags. They took every fucking thing from him. He lost more money in goddamn equipment than if he'd just give him $100 and come on through. He was mad as fucking hell. Motherfucker, blah, 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 blah.
There was
Yeah.
there was somebody that was at the team house that ended up getting fired for a drunken incident.
Imagine that.
Yeah, well, I'll leave it at that. Well, it ended up that it was at the same time that I was rotating out. So we both ended up having to go to a bond together. And he goes and proceeds to get way, 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 way drunk to the point that somebody's knocking on my door. They thought since we showed up together, he was my friend. They're like, Mister, your friend is asleep in the hallway. So we go and get him up into his room. A couple hours later, is the bus ride to the airport. We're there. He's drunker than hell. Bad. And we're standing in line. I'm just kind of standing back behind him. And all of a sudden he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a pocket knife and he just like goes, oh shit, like to himself. And then he like covers it back up and he goes, hey man, I got a present for you. Hold your hand out. I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. He tried to pawn the knife off onto me. So then we ended up getting one of those blue suit dudes who got us through and he kept his knife.
I tell you, man,
Yeah.
I was out in Nangarhar on that ABP program. There was a guy out there that brought in for the LE side. He was teaching law enforcement shit. And he got into Amman, Jordan and got fucking hammer wasted drunk. Decided he wanted to get a tattoo. Now he's in fucking Amman, Jordan, solo. Calls a fucking cab, drunker than shit, gets in the cab, gets took to some fucking where, where this underground dude's doing goddamn tattoos, you know, because it's illegal and shit. He's so
Right.
fucking drunk, you don't even know where he's at. Gets tattooed, somehow gets back to the fucking hotel. Motherfucker's got a tattoo on him from Amon Jordan and still got his head. I was like, you dumb motherfucker, man.
I set up a tattoo parlor in Mosul in 05. Army National Guard dude brought all of his kit with him. And so on our pad, we took half of the storage trailer and set up a tattoo parlor.
Oh, dude, we did that in Nangarhar.
Yeah,
we had one in Baghdad.
Me and Don Bennett and a bunch of us. I don't know if y'all know Don. Don's out of Katy, Texas. He's a old Charlie guy. Anyway, me and Don and all of us, we're sitting around in Nangarhar one time, bored out of our fucking mind because we didn't have nothing but downtime. And we're talking. I was like, how hard could it be to do black ink? You know what I mean? Like just letters and shit like that. No art stuff to it, just tracing a pattern. I bought a goddamn kit. Hell, you remember, Dale, I was doing them in fucking Kandahar still. I did dozens of tattoos on guys. So there's one guy who was on the border police program, and he was S4 in Kabul at Camp Integrity when that whole program started going under. And his name was Chris Johnson, maybe. I think it was Chris Johnson. Everybody called him CJ or something like that. He was an LE guy, a little shorter guy. But he wanted a Blackwater tattoo. And I was doing tattoos for just whiskey and shit back then. So we come up with this big fucking tribal design.
He said like he does it for money now.
Yeah. In the middle of it, it's got the damn bear paw and shit. And to me, I thought it looked queer as fuck. But that's what he wanted. Yeah, there you go. But this was like inside of a tribal tattoo. Covered half his fucking arm. So I'm outlining this motherfucker. The deal was they would bring me whiskey and I'd tattoo till I got so drunk I couldn't. And then we'd pick back up tomorrow. So that was the schedule. So depending on how fast I drank that whiskey was your set amount of time to be in that chair.
Yeah.
So I'm outlining this big fucking tattoo of CJ's, and I swear to God, I can get verification of this. In the middle of it, I don't tell him, I write, I love dick. With the outline all around it. And I walked off and left it. I'm like, okay, we're done for the day. Because I'm fucking drunk as shit by now.
Oh.
And so he's got this big ass goddamn letters in the middle of this thing where I've been sitting there for 20 minutes coloring in, I love dick. And so he starts going around not knowing that it says that, right? He starts going around like, hey, I hear Looney's doing a fucking, Doc's doing a tattoo. Yeah, man. And he pulls his shirt up and starts showing it to fucking people. And I've literally tattooed the words, I love dick. And he comes back fucking mad as shit. I mean, I covered it up a bit, but I made him wear that shit for about 4 or 5 days.
Dude.
You know that diner
we would have had to fight, dude.
You know the diner where people pay and like the waitress and everything is super rude to everybody? Set up a tattoo booth in there called Tattoo Roulette where they pay in whiskey and they have to spin a wheel and they pick the tattoo and then you do it while you're drinking the whiskey in there. People pay money for that shit.
Yeah. Good times, man. I did a bunch of fucking tattoos on people. Even one beat up over one.
Almost.
Yeah.
I think you whooped his ass.
Well, right now the score's Doc Looney 2, Navy SEALs, big fat donut hole.
Dude, you always have a standing rule, man, and that number one standing rule is you don't fuck with Doc. Like you don't fuck with Doc.
Don't poke the bear, right, Dale?
Oh yeah.
But I'm noticing a correlation here.
That was our fucking rule. Don't poke the bear.
You're 2-0 against the SEALs, yet you're afraid of the ocean. So is that your Achilles heel?
No, I think whiskey was my Achilles heel. I don't know how much of that fucking bathtub of hooch we got from goddamn Turkmenistan or wherever the fuck we were getting it down in Kandahar. You remember that?
Oh God.
Shit?
Oh,
it's
man.
$50 fucking for a liter of this, no label. It was literally just a glass jar with a fucking this thing's about to run out of time. We got 10 minutes left. It was just literally like a clear glass jar with a cork in it that somebody put fucking wax around to seal it. And we were buying that shit. They didn't even know what it was. Fucking embalming fluids, what it tasted like.
I was
Yeah, that's
paying
why I started.
$75 for a case of beer in 2010 when I left, and that shit was so gross. It was the like Carlsberg or Heineken Tall
Oh,
Boys,
bro,
and it was
I had
so
it set.
skunky.
When I was on the mail contract for SOC, and we were doing because we were doing that Pony Express contract, where mail all over the place. We had theater wide level 1 ISAP badges. So we'd drive up to Camp Warehouse, right down there next to across Polish Archy. We'd pull up to the fucking gate, flash our badge, roll in with 3 or 4 SUVs, go over to the fucking PX. They sold that green shit that was like a knockoff of Heineken. You remember what I'm talking about? That we always
Stella Artois.
I can't remember what it was now, but it tasted like fucking Heineken. It was in those green cans.
That's Carlsberg.
Yeah, the Carlsberg.
That's it. Yeah. So we would go down there and buy that shit. I think that was it. But
Did you work with Gonzo on that?
It was $1 a can. It was $24 a case, and they'd let you have 2 cases per person per day.
Did you work with Gonzo on that contract?
Yeah.
Gonzo and Pappy and Sparrow.
I don't remember. I remember the name Gonzo.
Gonzo originally was on the Ambo detail way back. He was the guy that the Marine Guards ended up shooting the 50 cal into the headrest behind him when he bent down to get the damn red ID card to get through the gate. That was like early 04, maybe late 03.
Dude, that fucking mail contract was no bullshit.
Yeah, well, he worked that mail contract. I'm trying to think because he worked IRI for a while with me. That was how I knew all 3 of them. But yeah, I mean, they were running and gunning on that. He was saying they were getting contracts.
It was straight up fucking Wild West shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were wheeling and dealing, like getting them like PKM ammo and shit like that. Cause I was just running around clients there in Kabul. So, I mean, we really didn't have shit going on. We took like 1 trip outside of Kabul up to like the Panjshir Valley to like our facilitator's home village and did Masood's tomb and all of that. But other than that, we were just in Kabul, which at that time wasn't bad. I mean, there was some sporadic shit, but dude, we were low pro, so it was easy. We drove
all the way to Gardez. We drove to Ghazni. We drove to fucking, what was that Polish camp down that black route? What was the name of that one? We had to go down there at night. I remember leaving the road. I don't know how many fucking times trying to get down there. I remember I was in Ghazni. I was in Gardez.
Ghaznీ's where I got fucked up at, man. Where I got blown up.
I was in Gardez. No, it was Ghazni. It was Ghazni. I went into there to get an intel dump for the route, and the guy said, "You can't go there." I said, "Why not?" He said, "It's black." I was like, "Okay." He's like, You can't go there. I was like, "No, we're going there. We go there every time."
You can go there, you just won't get support.
He's like, "Dude, you can't go there." I was like, "Dude, listen to me. We do it every week." And he's like, "You guys are crazy, man. You can't go." I mean, he didn't know what the fuck to do. He just like, but you can't. And I was like, "No, we can." He's like, "No, you can't." I was like, "Dude, we're going. You can't." You know, it's just like,
like we're fucking going. I mean, what part don't you understand?
He's like, "You can't."
He did that in Mosul one time. Shit was just popping off on the city, and we were out at the GC with clients, and almost every route was red. The Army was engaged everywhere. We had temp loan Humvees, and then we were going and getting all of our fills. We had Sangars went back to the B dock, and we would get route clearance, let them know where we were moving, and we called it in, and they were like, "Yeah, you can't move." And we're like, "Well, we're not sitting here." So we ended up there. They were like, "Well, I think it was Toyota." They were like, "Toyota's black, the rest of these are red." So we said, "Well, fuck it. If the rest of these are red, that means it's active engagement." Toyota was always red anyway, so they probably just elevated it. We said, "Fuck it, we're taking the black route." And they're like, "Well, you won't get any support."
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah, and we did too. We went down it every fucking week. But that was the thing they didn't keep up with. They didn't downgrade them after, you know what I mean? Nobody else was going down that fucking route. We were the only ones.
Because they get scared and wouldn't go out. So they just keep it like that until they just channelize themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should have fucking went over to Afghanistan whenever we closed everything down, or when TC took over. I should have popped smoke and went over with you guys. And I wound up, I mean, that's when I crossed over and went direct hire and then started working with GRS and all that shit. But yeah, because a bunch of guys had left Baghdad whenever TC took over.
Yeah.
And they went over there to work in Afghanistan.
well, Don did the same shit to us. When that ABP program came back up to bid, DynCorp bid it, won the contract. So there was like, I'm just going to throw out an arbitrary number because I don't remember. Let's just say there were 75 of us there. They were expecting like a 98% turnover retention rate from Don. They send these chicks out there to recruit us. And the very first person they bring into their recruiting bid is me. And so I sit down as the fucking lead medic, sit down, and she says, "What's your job title?" I said, "I'm the medic." And she goes, thumbing through her shit, and she goes, "I don't have a job title for you." I said, "I'm the medic. What do you mean you don't have a job title for me?" She's like, "Yeah, we don't have a medic bid on this contract." I said, "Do you people have any fucking idea what you're doing? How the fuck do you not have a medic bid on this? Did you bid fucking ammo? You know what I mean?" Like,
Yeah.
so they said, "Well, we'll have to talk to our people and get back to you." It's okay. Now on that contract, I was making like 600 a day on that one. They came back in on a 90-30. They came back in a couple of days later. They called me back in the office, and I sat back down. I said, "Okay, we got it worked out. So what we're offering is I think it was like $124,000 a year, and you're going to get 20 days leave in 2 14-day blocks." And I'm like, "Have y'all bumped your fucking head? Like, you're offering me a third of what I've been making with 10% less." You know what I mean? Like, this is fucking stupid. Nobody's going to stay for this. So I told them, "No, I won't be staying." 5 guys on the entire program, not just that site, on the entire program, 5 guys stayed. And DynCorp won the bid, couldn't man it up, shut the whole goddamn program down. It ended that day.
Wow.
There was a period because in what was it, October of 05, they made Mosul go strict only whips certified. So that was when I popped smoke there. And we had just had the car bomb in September. And so I took a brief break from like October of 05 until I think it was maybe February of 06 before I went back over. But I went down to Moyoc to do recruiting for whips. And state put out for a while, they were so hard up for medics that as long as they had an EMTB certification, they were good to go. And I was like, hold on. I was like, they don't have to have any tactical background. They were like, no, they're medics. And I was like, you realize that 90% of the time they're going to be walking the diamond and they're not going to be needed for their medical skills until shit goes sideways. I was like, they've got to have tactical skills. And we pushed, I forget who it was. I think it was Bob Casper was the one that was up there with state that had put that down. And it was just ridiculous. We pushed back hard. I mean, they came to me, they were like, well, then if you're not going to recruit them, we want resumes. And I was like, I shredded them because they didn't meet anything we needed.
I had that same kind of shit happen in Kabul when I was doing GOS and I was on those alpha team, and they had put me as the TL and the medic. And so for a few months I was running the teams, and then they said, well, we're going to get a team leader in here. You're going to go back to being a medic. I said, why? And they said, well, because you can't be the medic and the team leader. And I said, okay, why? And the whole gist of it was they couldn't bill for both spots if I was covering. So they brought me in a team leader, but he wasn't the team leader. He was just getting paid as a team leader, but he was still supposed to listen to me. But they were making money off of his spot. So anyway, the operations guy, the ops manager, right? The guy that does this for a living, that's his field grade, that's him, says to me, the reason we don't want you to be the team leader and the medic is because we